Hello world, my name is Mohit Deshpande, and in this course we'll be building deep reinforcement agents that can be used to play games. So on the right here we have a Q-learning agent, and we're going to start off by learning this, and it's going to learn a very simple game where we just have a car, and the idea is to try to get up to the top of the hill. So we'll start by dealing with kind of non-deep learning models like Q-learning, and then we'll move on to these deep Q networks, and from there we're going to be able to play really cool things like Atari games. So on the left there's a game of a breakout that I'm starting, and we're going to train AI to play both of these games. So kind of some of the learning goals that we're going to be discussing throughout this course is we're first going to introduce the concept of reinforcement learning. What is reinforcement learning? And what is this notion of a game? How do we define a game so that we can build algorithms to help solve it? Next, we're going to be discussing a problem or a kind of issue with reinforcement learning and a solution to this called value iteration. That's one of the ways that we can solve these kinds of games here using value iteration. But value iteration also has some issues, and so we're going to be discussing Q-learning to kind of improve upon value iteration. And then finally, at the end, we're going to be discussing deep Q networks, which is kind of what we're using today to help solve very complicated games. And so these deep Q networks will make use of the deep learning architectures that we've discussed before, such as neural networks and convolutional neural networks as well. We've been making video courses since 2012, and we're really excited to have you on board. The online courses like these are actually great ways to learn new skills, and I actually take a lot of them myself, really. Zenva courses consist mainly of these video lessons that you can watch pretty much at your own pace as many times as you want, over and over again. We also have downloadable source code and project files that contain really everything that we're going to build throughout the lessons. And really, when you download these, it's really recommended that you code along with me, because in my experience, the best way to learn something is kind of getting your hands dirty with this. So feel free to follow along with me with the code. And then finally, we've seen that the students who get the most out of these online courses are those who kind of make a routine or a weekly plan and stick with it. Of course, this depends on your own availability and learning style. So over the past 6 years or so, Zenva has taught all different kinds of topics, from programming, game development, to something like over 250,000 students over the course of 50 courses. And these are the skills that they learned in these courses are completely transferable to many other things. In fact, some of the students have taken these skills and used them to advance their own careers, make a startup, or publish their own content from the skills that they've learned. Thanks for joining, and I look forward to seeing all the cool stuff you'll be building. Now, without further ado, let's get started.